It's a little emotional because it took so much on her part to trust me. It's a big commitment when you start sitting on a horse, one of this caliber. She was an extreme case of toughness. She was an extreme case of being reactive, bolting, being flighty, not trusting, and she has really made a change. But can she handle that next level of me being on top of her? It's a serious question, because if I do it wrong, I could end up in the hospital pretty fast. So that's a very serious thing before I climb on top of a young horse for the first time, but especially a horse like this that's been dangerous.
Well, this mare I rescued from a kill lot in Oklahoma. She's a bucking bred mare off of a ranch, originally in Idaho. She was shipping to slaughter. Was very skeptical, snorty, scared.
And that's what I'm feeling with her in this session, like she's starting to turn a corner. Hey y'all, Nate Eicher from Eicher Ranch. If you've been following the journey with Sierra, today we're going to advance her to the next level. It's going to be fun and exciting. Let's get to it. All right, y'all. So we've been doing a lot of different things with Sierra in the membership videos. You can see all those. But we've been putting a ton of steps with the saddle work, with ground driving, and so forth. And we're going to continue with that today. We're going to do a little bit of groundwork. We're going to saddle her up and then go from there. So first of all, I'm going to get this curry here, and I gave her a bath pretty recently here, so she's actually the cleanest she's ever been. And if you notice, her mane and tail, we got that all brushed up now. Her tail, I had to be creative with because she still kicks. I can't get it to her hind end because it's just not safe yet. Like if I go back there, she still tends to want to kick if I surprise her in any way, or if I run my hand down too far. So in the last video, we got a little creative on how we did her tail there and got it cleaned up. It was all knotted up, and finally got that cleaned up. So we're gonna go ahead and throw this saddle on. Tater, can you please move? Tater sure likes to be the center of attention here. Kind of likes to hog the camera space. So we may have to move him once in a while. So Sierra is still really green with the saddling. We've done it quite a number of times here, but I'm gonna act like she's really broke to it. So when I go to saddle her, I ground tie her and expect her to stand there, even though she's not totally good with it yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and act like she is. There we go. And since she was good with the saddle pad on both sides, I'm going to go ahead and throw that saddle up. You see right there, she's just not quite waiting on me. So we'll ask her to step around here. When I'm going to saddle my horse, I need them to be waiting on me mentally every step of the way. Otherwise, I'm just kind of wasting my time because they're not mentally with me anyways. So I'll put the work in to have them stand and wait on me. See, like right there, the saddle pad coming toward her is kind of scaring her a little bit. There we go. So she's feeling a little bit standoffish on this side again here tonight. And so I'm gonna do a little more work on this side before we cinch her up, just to make sure we're on the same page here. There we go. It's a little better. I'm going to walk her around with this cinch before I actually cinch her up, just because she can get a little tight. I want her to feel it. There we go. Good job, girl. Trying to keep her as relaxed as possible. Oh, hello. Was not expecting that. Sometimes she will get a little tight when she feels that back cinch, even though it's still pretty loose. It goes back to her old ways of being a buck and bronc. It's all right, girl. So what's different about her, though, is when I do take a hold of her, she comes back to me pretty quick. Good job. But the way she's bred and the way she's minded is to react to any kind of pressure. So if she feels something tight on her, her natural instinct is just to kind of blow up out of it, because that's what she's bred to do. So because of that, I've been working on changing her mindset from being reactive to being a responsive horse. When a horse is responsive, they'll think their way through things, and she's starting to be more that way, but she still has moments where she just reacts to it. The good thing is, I can take a hold of her and she'll come back to me for the most part. For the most part, pretty quickly. Easy. Right here, I'm gonna take a hold of her. I just noticed this cinch over here is not quite where I want it. Make sure all the equipment is right here. And I want to just ease her into it. We used just the front cinch with her for a little while, and then we added the back cinch. And it still isn't super comfortable with her at first. And then she she really gets pretty good with it after a few minutes of moving around. It's the initial touch of that cinch that kind of sets her off yet. Hey, if y'all like the way she's looking by now, with a combed out mane and tail, let me know in the comments. We worked hard on getting that, and we're pretty proud of how it's looking. Good job. I think she likes the way it feels too. All right, we're gonna ease her off here again. Hey Tater, how are you doing? I like to do a lot of bending and turning, help her feel those cinches up against her. Good. I want that back cinch up against her to where she can feel it at all times, so it doesn't ever surprise her. You know, when I'm working with young horses, I don't want surprises. I don't like surprising them because it'll teach them how to be reactive. But on the other hand, they need to learn how to tolerate things. So if something does surprise them, that they don't just blow up and they don't just react big time. So there's that fine line. As they learn how to be responsive, the reactive part will start to leave. Good. What I thought I would do here is warm her up just a little more. Then we're gonna get on top of Tater and we're gonna do some work from on top of him to help desensitize her to this whole process of getting her ready for the first ride. We've been working hard toward getting her ready for that first ride, and we're going to continue that journey right here and right now. You can tell she's a little tight. Every once in a while when she moves, she gets that tightness about her. So we want to get all of that out. One of the things I like to do from on top of my pony horse here is bend her around and loosen up that rib cage, because I'm going to do the same thing when I get in the saddle. So when I feel her start to soften up, step that hind leg over in a nice soft way, then I'll release her all the way. I'm giving her a lot of releases here. Good job. It's been very interesting working with her from the start. You know, she came as a feral horse, and very, very tough horse to work with. I've worked with a lot of Mustangs, and I would say she's a little tougher than all the Mustangs I've worked with, and she's bigger and stronger as well. So because of that, you know, I have to put a lot more steps in the process with her to make sure I'm safe when I start riding her, and to make sure she understands things. There we go. There we go, that's better. There, she's finally letting down. So as I'm working with her, I'm thinking, like, how can I relate me being on top of her with what I'm doing here? Like, how can I help her understand the things I'll be doing when I'm on top of her? And so the one thing I think of is like, well, I might wave my legs will move. Does she understand how to go forward when my legs move? Without me trying to get on top of her to teach her. So I'll get up along here and I'll tap my right leg here, cluck to her, and as soon as she walks forward, I'm going to release and quit tapping. And this is where having a good pony horse is really great. Good job. Good. Then I might stick my toe in that stirrup and put a little weight in the saddle. And try not to break my ankle. No, if I just keep my toe in, if I put my whole foot in and she goes to turn around really fast, it'll break her ankle. But if I can keep my toe in there, if she makes a quick move, I can instantly pull it out. Then I like to, whoop, she's getting ahead of me here. Then I like to kind of see if I can lay over her a little bit. Tater, you're doing good here. Do my stretching exercises here. Good job. There we go. Hey, good. Good job. Now this other side, doing it over on her right side and my left side gets a little awkward. This is my off side, it's her off side. So we're gonna see if we can make this work. Good. I like that she's standing here and waiting on me. We're gonna reward that. And then we'll do the same thing. I'm gonna use my left leg now and tap her forward. Cluck to her. And see, I love what she's doing there. She's moving her mouth through all of this. That tells me it's not too big of a deal for her with what I'm doing right here. Now we're gonna ask her again. Good job, Tater. There, she's moving her mouth again. So I want to recognize that and reward that. Good job. I like to slap the saddle, make all kinds of noises. Then I'm moving my leg here. And Tater hears me clucking. He's like, why aren't we going forward? He's raring to go, but she's trying to figure it out. There we go. There we got unstuck. There she's licking again. All right, so I'm going to put my foot in that stirrup and put a little pressure over here. There we go. There she moved when I moved my foot. Good job. See, that move across there kind of surprised her a little bit. I should have been a little slower about that, but in a way I'm testing her. Because everything I'm doing here, if it's a big deal to her here, it's going to be a bigger deal when I get in the saddle. So anything I can do to ride her without actually riding her is beneficial and will help her have more understanding once I commit to that saddle. There we go. Good job. Good job. Now we'll ask her to step across. Excellent. Excellent. Because of her quick movements here, I'm going to go ahead and send her out if she'll stand still here. I want to get this lead rope attached, and then I'm going to ask her to lope around here a bit. I feel like she needs to work a little more and get warmed up through her body just a little more. Easy girl. Make sure she's not trampling on the lead rope. All right, now we're going to go ahead and just send her around and free her up a little. She's tighter than I like her to be. And sometimes moving them out sure helps that. Go, good job. Then also, I'm desensitizing her at the same time where she's seeing the flag on the left, then on the right. Tap that saddle, see if she can handle that. Make some noise back here. Hey, good. I like that. There, she relaxed to it, so I'll take that away. There she's letting down again. Good, good, good. Real good. See if we can do that on the right side. Just ask her to move out here. Learn how to flow in a relaxed way. Then see how she responds if I move the flag around her in various places. There we go, got a lead departure. Let's do that again. Tater's like, I'll do it. There we go, good job. That's it. Great job. Sierra, can you do that on the other side? There we go, good job. Let's try that one more time. There we go. Now I'm really just over exaggerating everything here just to see how she'll handle all the noise, all the pressure, and just really kind of making it a big deal. But I'm testing her. She's ready to be tested in many different ways. Good. We'll test her over here with this part. Good. Great job. All right, so I have this big burlap thing here that I like to throw over her back. I've done this one time with her here recently, and I'm trying to see how she does and make sure she's good with something bigger on her back before I get on her back. So that's what we'll do with this. A couple sessions ago, we worked through this a bit, and she was uncomfortable with it, that's for sure. But she did pretty good overall until she started trotting with it. Then she kind of tried to leave, and we worked through that. So we'll see how she does here tonight. See, when things move and she sees it from one eye to the other eye, it surprises her at times. And that's very normal for a lot of horses. When they see it with their left eye, then you come across and they see it with their right eye from behind like this. It surprises them. You gotta teach them how to be good with that. Teach them how to respond in a good way instead of just running away from what they're scared of and bolting. Good job. Now we're gonna try it on the awkward side. You know, if you think about it, a pony horse has to be good with all this stuff too. If my pony horse wasn't good with all kinds of stuff like this, this could be a real wreck. Good, there we go. Then we'll get quiet here, then we'll move it again. Good. See, that scared her. When I stayed quiet here, that's why we move around a lot in the saddle on a young horse, because if we get real quiet, you see how nervous she's getting? When we're moving a lot, she knows what's going on, but when things get quiet, she's like, hey, where'd you go? What are you doing back there? Good job. All right, let's try something a little bit harder. I have this string on here that I just loop around the saddle horn. Make sure I have a hold of her. But this here can't go too far. It won't fall down her side very far. It'll just stay up in the middle of that saddle, which is really important. I don't want something that'll fall down the side and get in their feet and really scare them. So that's just a little bit different right there, because now it's a continuous flap. And see, that makes her nervous, but she's very controlled about it. Like, she's uncomfortable, but she's not freaking out. Good job. I don't do this kind of thing before they're ready. Like, there's a lot of experience here as far as knowing when to do this, because if you do this kind of thing too soon, you can really wreck a horse. You can really scare them bad. We'll try that one more time. So that's me flopping up around there. If I were up on her back and moving around, hopefully she wouldn't be any worse than that. Now we're gonna try it on this other side. So she's gonna see it more out of her right eye now. Letting the lead rope kind of flap on there as well and seeing how she responds to that. Now I'm just doing all kinds of different things to see where she's at with it. Have I done my homework? Like, have I taught her how to be responsive enough? Or is there places where she's going to be really reactive? There we go. Good job. And we'll let her get quiet here, let everything get quiet, and then when we go to move again, does it surprise her? We ask her to bend around to the right here. Nice. We've taught her how to follow that feel. There, she just took a deep breath. Doing good, girl. Hey, there it is. All right, we're gonna send her out one more time. Then we're gonna get off Tater and do something exciting. So she's kind of looking left and right here, but she's really thinking her way through it. I really like what she's doing here. Now, obviously, we want her to get more relaxed in it, but that just takes time of doing a lot of different things to help her release that tension. And trust me through anything I put her through. Good job. That's it. All right, you passed that test. All right, girl. What do you think? We're going to tighten this up a little more, and I'm going to start putting my foot in the stirrup after I do a couple of jumping jacks, do my exercise for the day. All right, I've done this with her before, and I'm really happy like how she's retaining there. So I'll stick my toe in the stirrup and do some jumping jacks with one leg. Good job. Good job. So I've done that once with her before where I started getting up on each side. And, you know, obviously we've never sat on her, we've never ridden her or anything like that. So we're getting closer, getting so much closer. We'll do the jumping jacks over here. Good. Good job. Ooh, that gives you a workout. It keeps you in shape, boys. Keeps you in shape. All right, so now that she did that pretty decently, didn't seem to scare her too bad, now I'm gonna spend a little more time up here, up and down, and then ask her to move a step over. Can she move a step over without freaking out? Good. See, like right there, my hand went front. That's making her like get nervous, right? Good. So all those little things I'm being aware of that if I can get her better with before I get in the saddle, it's going to be a blessing. Good. And so when I do that, I'm teaching a horse how to find their balance with weight in the saddle. I try to kind of keep it center, toward the center of the saddle, like I'll lean over them a little bit. And so I'm seeing, like, can you stay balanced, or do you stumble around a lot when we step over like this? Good. Good. So I'm going to rub her up here now. I think she'll be all right with that. And you might ask, like, why I have her bend around. Well, the reason for that is when I first start coming up here, if she would be surprised and take off, I have control of her hind end so she can't kick me. So if she would take off, I would step down and her hind end would move over. So that's why I have her bend around like that. Now I'm starting to touch her with my legs here, seeing how she is in the belly, because I don't want my legs to surprise her when I get in the saddle. So if I can get her comfortable with me tapping on her, if I happen to kick her, I try not to like kick her, but if I happen to move a little quick with my leg, that it doesn't surprise her. There we go. All right. What do you think of that? Let's try that again. Can I get brave and start letting her see my right hand over here? Good. Good. Boy, I'm starting to sweat. Is it me working hard or is it me being nervous, right? Because I'm thinking about sitting on her. Never done it. Do you think we're ready? It's a big commitment when you start sitting on a horse, one of this caliber. She was an extreme case of toughness. She was an extreme case of being reactive, bolting, being flighty, not trusting. And she has really made a change. But can she handle that next level of me being on top of her? It's a serious question, because if I do it wrong, I could end up in the hospital pretty fast. So that's a very serious thing before I climb on top of a young horse for the first time, but especially a horse like this that's been dangerous. So I do it in small increments and small steps. And so I'm going to ask her to step around here again. So I don't like them standing still for more than a few seconds before I get up on them. There we go. I'm going to rub her, see if she's good with this. See, when my hand came front, she kind of flinched. Then the next thing I start to do before I sit on her is do it part of the way, right? I do everything in steps, in a rhythm, right? In a rhythm. Good. See right there? I could get off and not commit right there. Because when I got on there, she started to get tight. Good. Get my cardio in today. Good job. Good job. Good job. See, that's why I taught her how to come to this pressure. If not, she would stiff neck and try to take off when something surprises her, that other leg coming across like that. Good job. Small increments. Good. Keep that trust factor in there. Then the awkward side. You know, this is where the movement isn't quite as graceful. I'm a little more awkward on this side. So we got to work with each other here. Good. Good. Her tendency is to bolt when things get too uncomfortable. And so I've tried to teach her to not to just respond instead of react. Don't bolt when you get surprised. Think your way through it. Good. Good. Hello. So right here, we're in a fragile situation. Can I get back off of her, or is she gonna try to take off? Good job. Yes. So right there was a true test. And we're just getting started here, but that was one of the tests. I didn't know if she would pass, because when a horse gets surprised, she got surprised there, she could have pulled out of my hand. She's way stronger than I am. She could have pulled out of my hand and went to bucking and kicking. But she came to that pressure, so that was great. That was a test, but it wasn't the biggest one. Good job. It's all right, girl. Good job over here. Good. Good job. So she's holding her breath right there. She's doing really good, but she's holding her breath. So that's why I get off every so often and let her breathe. And we go back to it. I do it in many increments on a horse like this, so we don't, just like the saddling. If I just saddle her up and we go, she gets tight. But if I ease her into it and do it in increments, things get better sooner. Good. And one thing I'm going to try to do here is ride her forward off my inside leg. Good. I like to see her move forward. There she did a little bit. Good. Good. There she did a little more. So I like to do that if I can with a horse like this. There she surprised herself. That way she learns how to move forward before I'm totally committed. Hey, I can ride bucking horses, but I can't say that I'm great at it. So the less we have to go there, the better. If I can teach them how to, how to learn how to take things, and we don't get into a rodeo, I'm all about that. See if we can't get her to move forward here, get her loosened up. There we go. She took a step forward. Train one side of the horse at a time is the way I think about it. There we go. Good. That's better. Good job. I'll ask her to follow that feel and see what she does when she sees me out of the other eye. Not too bad, a little quick. But that's what I mean, like, she's still quick when she sees me out of that other eye. She sees my hand up there. So when her head comes around, there we go, that was better. That's where she gets a little quick yet. So we're gonna do that a few more times. That was much better. Good job. Good job. Good job. We'll do it on our more natural side here. Ride side saddle. Say, hey, can you go forward? Or is that too big of a deal? Does it scare you too much? Or are you good with trying it? Good job. Good job. That's it. Good job. Good. Same thing here. Can you move over? Can you move forward at all? Or is it too much for you? You might ask, well, why don't you just sit quiet on her? The quieter you get on a young horse, an unridden horse, the more worried they get. So I like to keep a rhythm, keep a flow, keep things moving, keep rubbing when I can, when I'm not holding onto the saddle horn, and wiggling the saddle. I want her to know that I'm back here. I don't want it to be a surprise. Good, she's letting down right there. For the first time since I'm in the saddle, she's licking and chewing. That is amazing. But we're not gonna sit there too long and let things get nervous, right? Good. I mean, she's tight underneath me. So I'm just helping her, trying to help her relax, teaching her that it's all right. Good job. Good job. There she let down again. All the bending work we've been doing, this is where it's paying off. This is where I can have control, so far anyways, have control of a bucking bronc that's learning how to be ridden. Good job. That's it, girl. That's it. Good. I'm trying to get a little more forward, but I'm still, on the other hand, I'm not going to give her too much freedom yet. Not yet. There'll come a day, we'll ease into it, when I'll give her a lot of freedom. But right now, it's not quite that time. There we go. Good. There she started to get tight, so I just let her, ask her to move left a little bit. Good job. Excellent. Whew. Can we do it again? Like to feel her relax just a little bit more. She's been kind of letting down here a little bit. Good. She's like, when am I supposed to start bucking? And I'm like, hey, I'm cool if you don't. I'm make for a cool picture, but it might be of me flying through the air. Good job, girl. That's it. Good. Great job. How about that? How about that? All right, a little bit more movement here, then we might call it a session. I want to make this first ride a really good experience. There, she's licking, she's letting down. Hey, she's got some tight movements about her yet. It ain't over, but I'm really, really happy with how she's trying. Look at that, moving her mouth again. Good job. Great job. The first ride, we did it. We did it, girl. We did it. Great job. Wow. I didn't know if we would get to that point. This is one of the toughest horses I've ever trained, and it's a little emotional because it took so much on her part to trust me. It took so much work to get her here. And it's really just the start of the riding process. Like, there's a lot of tests that we need to work through with her, but with her level of trust, I think we can get through it. It's so worth it seeing something like this because of the level of trust it takes on her part. She didn't have to trust me, and I had to earn every step of it. But she chose to, and it's pretty cool to watch it all come together and to feel it, just because of everything that went into it. Great job, girl. We're gonna get her unsaddled and hose her down, let her feel good. Thank you all so much for watching this journey. All right, time to pull it together here. This is the first horse that I've filmed every part, every step of the journey with. I believe in my program. You know, what I did with her is just what I do. She needed way 1,000, 1,000,000 more steps than most horses. But this is my program. It's a program of trust. And it feels like we're on the second level of her journey now. The first level was getting up to this point. Now the second level is going to be to see where we get in her riding journey. So that's going to be very interesting to see where it goes. But it's been an awesome journey so far. We're kind of in the middle of it right now, I feel like, and we'll see where it goes from here. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your support. And let me know what you think of her by now. It's the next leg in the journey right here. And Tater, what are you doing, boy? Been too long since he's had the attention on him. All right. Good job, girl. We will see you all in the next one.